Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you're driving home from work, sitting on your porch, or lying awake wondering why your brain suddenly wants to revisit every embarrassing thing you've ever done, welcome to the Henry Hudson Hour. I'm Henry Hudson, and tonight I don't really have a grand topic, no politics, no major cultural commentary, no attempt to solve the world's problems. Instead, I thought I'd just tell you about my week, because sometimes the small stories end up being the most interesting ones. So let's start with something I'm irrationally excited about. A few days ago, I ordered a pair of shoes from England, specifically trainers, also known as sneakers, also known as tennis shoes. Now I know that sounds ridiculous. People order things online every day, but there's something different about ordering things from overseas. When you order something from Amazon, you expect it in 2 days. When you order something from England, suddenly you're tracking a package like it's a military operation. You know exactly where it is at all times. Oh, it's left Heathrow. Oh, it's in customs. Oh, apparently it's in Kentucky now. Why Kentucky? I don't know. I don't understand why all my packages seem to end up in Kentucky. There must be a huge distribution center there. Currently, my package, because I just checked it, is in someplace in England. Let's see here. Feltham, Great Britain. That is where my package is currently. And I am certain, I guarantee you, it somehow will end up in Kentucky. I don't know how, but they always end up in Kentucky. I don't know if anybody else does this, but once I order something I'm excited about, I immediately become a logistics expert. I know absolutely nothing about international shipping until I place an order. Then suddenly I'm evaluating freight routes, I'm questioning custom procedures, I'm wondering why a package traveling from England to Texas apparently needs to visit 17 different facilities first. But I'm excited. And maybe part of the excitement isn't even the shoes, maybe it's the anticipation. I love these shoes that I ordered. They're retro 80s sneakers, and they're made by this brand called Patrick that I've never heard of. So I hope they're good. Like, I hope they're durable and they don't fall apart. I have no idea. But I've been obsessed ever since our guest Jarvis recommended this website, Atom Retro, ATMO retro.com. To me, I have been obsessed with everything on that site. I also saw that they have Clark Wallabies on there, which are my favorite shoes of all time. I love desert boots. And I'm going to have to get a pair of those as well at some point. Sometimes looking forward to something is almost as enjoyable as actually getting it, because anticipation is one of life's unrated pleasures. Of course, while I was waiting for my shoes, life decided to remind me that every moment of happiness requires balance, which brings us to my Jeep. Now, let me tell you something. If you've ever owned an older vehicle, you know that inspections have a unique ability to ruin your day. You walk into the inspection station feeling optimistic. You're convinced everything is fine. You've prepared mentally for success. And then 5 minutes later, a man you've never met informs you that your vehicle has apparently developed a serious character flaw. In my case, emissions testing became the enemy. Now, my Jeep, I have already gotten it. I have been trying to get this car inspected for weeks. I have already gotten it fixed. It had an emissions leak already, and I had gotten it fixed. I paid $700 for the repair, and then I drove about 30 or 40 miles, and the check engine light came back on for the same issue. Now, I'm not a mechanic. I wish I were. And I admire people who can hear a strange noise and immediately diagnose the problem. I hear a strange noise and simply turn the radio up. That's my strategy. But apparently the Jeep had other plans. So now I've entered the fascinating stage of vehicle ownership where you're trying to determine whether a repair will cost $50 or $500. There's no middle ground. It's always one of those two numbers. And everyone keeps telling me to check the gas cap, but I've gotten the gas cap replaced already. So I don't know what the issue is, like, unless there's another new leak that is happening. It's very frustrating. But every time someone says it could be several different things, that's not reassuring. It's terrifying, because what they're really saying is we have absolutely no idea. And so I've spent part of this week researching emissions systems. Friends, I can confidently tell you, after several hours of research, I still don't know how emission systems work. I've simply learned new vocabulary. I've become familiar with terms that I immediately forget after reading them, and yet somehow I remain hopeful. I don't know what the issue is, but I'm hoping it's not super expensive to fix, and I'm hoping that they can figure it out and not charge me a lot. I'm going to take it back to them later this week, and I'm just going to say, hey, look, I just paid you $700 to do this repair. Now the check engine light is coming on for the same thing, and I don't know what the problem is. Because owning an older vehicle, it teaches you patience. It's really weird. It's like you just learn how to go with the flow. And my car, it's not that old. It's 10 years old. But like, I'm so aggravated all the time with my Jeep. Jeeps, don't buy a Jeep unless you are prepared to do a lot of repairs. You know, you enter into a long-term relationship with your car, and sometimes it's wonderful, and sometimes it disappoints you, and sometimes it costs money unexpectedly. And actually, now that I think about it, maybe it's exactly like a relationship. It's really frustrating and aggravating, and I don't even know what to do about it. I'm just excited to get my brand new black trainers. Speaking of relationships, let me tell you about one of the most fascinating people I've encountered at work recently. Now, if you've worked retail for any amount of time, you know there are regular customers. Then there are characters. This man is a character. He comes into the store and stays for hours, not minutes. Hours. And during those hours, he'll collect bottle after bottle after bottle after bottle of liquor. Then comes the truly remarkable part. When it's finally time to check out, he doesn't buy everything in one transaction. No, that would be far too simple. Instead, each bottle goes on a different credit card. And this man has a stack of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of credit cards. He buys hundreds to dozens upon dozens of bottles. Okay, he's bought hundreds total. He's visited the store now about 3 or 4 times. One bottle, one card, next bottle, different card, next bottle, another card. And by this point, everyone involved is trying to understand what's happening. I've watched this process unfold multiple times now, and every single time I become more curious because the human mind naturally creates explanations. Maybe he's organizing expenses. Maybe it's a rewards point strategy so advanced that ordinary people simply cannot comprehend it. Maybe he's operating on a financial system that exists entirely outside my understanding of economics. I honestly don't know. But this man, he is elderly, he is very old, and he is ill. He has a broken foot and he walks with a cane. My boss said he thinks he's dying and he's trying to spend all his money before he kicks the bucket. I don't know what the true story behind him is. All I know is that it's very strange, and that's what makes it interesting. One thing I've learned from working with the public is that every person is carrying around a story you know nothing about. Sometimes all you see is the strange behavior. You don't see the explanation, you don't see the history, you don't see the reason, and occasionally that's frustrating to me. I feel that I want to know what the story is. But more often it's fascinating because people are weird. Not bad, not good, just weird. And I mean that affectionately. The older I get, the more convinced I become that normal is largely an illusion. Everybody has quirks, everybody has routines, everybody has habits that would seem bizarre if fully explained. The difference is that some people keep theirs hidden better than others, and maybe that's one reason I enjoy observing people so much. I'm a huge people watcher. I love to watch people, and you never know what story you're going to encounter next. Well, I suppose that's where we'll leave things tonight. A pair of shoes somewhere between England and Texas, a Jeep that's determined to test my patience, and a customer who remains one of the great mysteries of modern commerce. Maybe there isn't a grand lesson hidden in any of those stories, or maybe there is. Sometimes life isn't made up of major events or breaking news. Sometimes it's the little things, the package you're waiting for, the unexpected repair bill, or the strange conversation with a stranger that end up sticking with you. And if nothing else, I hope tonight's stories gave you something to think about, or at least something to smile about. As always, I'd love to hear from you. You can find the show on Instagram at Henry Hudson Hour, or send me an email at henryhudsonhour@gmail.com. Whether you have a story to share, a question, a comment, or just want to say hello, I'd be glad to hear from you. Before I go, I'd also like to thank John Bartman for providing the music featured in this episode. His work helps give this program the sound and atmosphere that I enjoy bringing to you each week. And one more thing before we sign off. Sorry about the short episode this week. Originally, I was going to tell you that my next guest would be my 91-year-old grandmother, Pat Tyler. As it turns out, that's actually not next week's episode. That's still coming, and I'm very much looking forward to that conversation. But next time, I'll be joined by Jarvis for what I expect will be a fascinating discussion, and knowing us at least a few unexpected detours along the way. So make sure to tune in for that. Until then, take care of yourselves, be kind to one another, and remember to pay attention to the little stories. They're usually more important than we realize. I'm Henry Hudson. Thank you for listening.